Alright folks, my name is Freyn and this is everything you could need to know about the Deinosuchus, one of the largest crocodilians ever known and Ark's latest official creature. As always, if you find this helpful, do please consider supporting the channel, but for now, let's get started. Being a crocodilian, the Deinosuchus is naturally found around water, and most primarily the swampy water. At this time, there is of course only 3 official maps in the game, but on the island and centre you should find a decent number of them in the mangrove swamps and the southern rivers, as highlighted here, while on Scorched, which of course has no swamp, you can instead find them lurking in the waters of either the Northern or Oasis Cave. As far as taming goes, the dino is an incredibly simple, circumstantial passive feed. Whenever it is on land, or particularly shallow water, it will periodically start to bask, lying with its mouth wide open to soak up the sun's heat. This lasts for 15 seconds and can occur as frequently as 10 seconds apart, but it is only during this time that you can feed it. You must be level 70 to do so, and anything that can provide aggro reductions, such as crouching or wearing a ghillie suit, is certainly recommended, but I have still managed to find success with simply sprinting up and mashing the E key, as they do actually have a slightly reduced aggro radius while in this basking state. Unlike most passive tames, they also will not lose any progress or even effectiveness on taking damage. So if it does go back out into the water, you can give it a poke, drag it back over. Absolutely no problems there. It really is just an incredibly simple thing to tame. As far as the food itself goes, mutton or raw prime will work, but I would honestly advise going with kibble and nothing else, as it is just the absolute best option by quite a wide margin, as you can see here. Alright, so how does it compare to its alternative creatures then? Well, for a stat line, we have a very respectable base 1000 health, 300 stamina, and 600 weight, putting it fairly on par with a Rex there, and again, its basic bite is fairly similar as well. It is of course important to note, however, that the Deinosuchus has no oxygen stats, so will therefore naturally roll higher across the board, and actually probably come out a little above the Rex as a result. In terms of speed, well, it again falls behind the Rex on land there. With only 2 meters per second, the Rex is more than doubling it in a walk, and still a good 20% faster in a sprint. But the Rex also drains its stamina more than 3 times faster to maintain that. So over long distances, the Dino could actually claw it back, even as a land mount. When it comes to the water though, well, it may be slower than most of the aquatics, but to no one's surprise, the Dino is by far the faster there. Moving on, we have a lower than expected drag weight of only 300, meaning it can enter boss arenas. But interestingly, despite weighing the same as a trike, it cannot seem to be carried by either the Cats or the Rhino. Perhaps this is a bug, I don't know. But for now, the only thing that seems to be able to grab it is the Tuso, so certainly still keep your wits about you if you plan on diving deep. Despite laying down, rider weapons can still be used, which is always a big plus. Its aggro level is so high that not even a wild Giga will go for it without being provoked. Saddle is unlockable at level 74 and remarkably cheap, with only 380 hide, 200 fiber and 50 metal ingots. And from testing, I've found pre-crafted or blueprints in either red and yellow swamp cave crates, red scorched cave crates, and red or yellow beacon drops. It is possible there's more and I've just been unlucky, but these are the only ones I can say with absolute certainty right now. Now finally, for our general info, its eggs can be used to create superior kibble, and it takes 2 hours and 30 minutes to hatch at 30 to 34 degrees, a growth time of 47 hours 17 minutes, and a breeding cooldown of 18 to 48 hours, all on official settings of course. just like with the Taming, the Deinosuchus is again very simple when it comes to its abilities. It still has a few things on its belt, but none of them are especially complicated or incredibly overpowered. So it's no wonder that it's one of, if not the community favourite among the Arc Edition's creatures. First off, we have a nice simple tail slap activated with the crouch key, inflicting a slight bit more damage than the basic bite, and most importantly a very reasonable knockback. The tail slap is very useful for getting yourself some breathing room when surrounded. Coupled with the main bite's directional snap rotation, it really allows for some easy repositioning if you get yourself into a tough spot. Next, of course, we have the big one, the Gigabyte. A hugely punishing attack and the main strength of that toothy maw. Holding down the secondary attack will begin to charge your bite, with the damage scaling based on the charge at the time of release. Now below 40% releasing will do simply nothing, just cancel the attack. But above this you can expect a huge damage of 425 multiplied by your tame's damage stat, and further multiplied by the percentage of charge bar. For example, a 400% tame charged to 50% will deal 850. You get it. Furthermore, taking this to the end of the bar not only gives you obviously more damage, but also will apply a bonus effect of the Broken Bones debuff. This debuff lasts for 15 seconds and causes damage to the target every second it is moving, at a rate of 0.5% of its maximum health multiplied by 1.35, and then with a further 75% bonus on top of that if it is sprinting. So on a wild Giga which has around 80,000 health, for instance, that's going to be approximately 540 per second, or 945 on the run, which on top of the already quite substantial bite itself is certainly nothing to be ignored. Next we have a very nice, but probably quite unnoticed passive ability that periodically scares away all piranha within 20 meters. They may still of course get the odd bite in between the pulses, but it is so nice to not have to deal with those constant swarms of teeth. And finally, the mobility. Now, I've already mentioned that it can turn to face its target whenever you bite, but it can also swim vertically up and down, which obviously makes for very nice ocean traversal. And when at the surface, it has the same surface swimming or raft mode that the Shasta uses, allowing you to freely rotate your camera around without getting any unwanted diving unless you actively press the crouch key. And there we are, everything to help you obtain and use the Deinosuchus to its fullest. There are curiously quite a few unplugged functions still lingering around in the file to do with a death roll ability with ramping up speed. I suspect an early concept that was later abandoned, but clearly already with a lot of work put into it. And it's interesting to think about what it could have been. I suspect probably an underwater alternative to the Gigabyte, letting you immobilize and punish the target the longer you hold it. That's all for now though, so as always, thank you very much for watching. Let me know what else you'd like to see, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.